Ferreira is lost to us. He renounced God in public and surrendered the faith.
That's not possible. Father Ferreira risked his life to spread our faith all over Japan.
It seems to me that our mission here is more urgent than ever. We must go find Father Ferreira.
This is in your hearts, then, both of you?
Yes.
Then I must trust God has put it down.
My interest in all things Catholic, those elements have showed up in my other films, Mean Streets, Taxi Driver to a certain extent, Raging Bull certainly, and many pictures. But I think I approached it from different ways. The idea of the tenets or the beliefs of Christianity in the everyday life that we lead, you know. And so ultimately, I was given the Book of Silence in 1988. It was in August, I believe, or September, by Archbishop Paul Moore, who is the Archbishop of Episcopal Archbishop of New York, St. John the Divine. He was a supporter of the film I had just made, Last Temptation of Christ, after seeing the film. And so he talked to us about a serious discussion about those elements in that particular film, and those arguments, those concepts, those questions. And then he said, I have a book for you that you should take a look at. It takes the very essence of what you were trying for in your other films and goes deeper. The issue in this particular story, and that should apply to everything we know of today too, and that is the cultural differences, right? How do they deal with the cultural differences of Japan as opposed to Western Europe in the 17th century? They have to understand the culture that they're bringing this gospel, this good news to. They have to understand what the values of the culture are. They have to understand the way people think. The only way to do that is to be with them, know the language, spend time, and then see. And I think the only way they really, it really could work is if their actions are something which the people would want to emulate, how they behave. I think that's the key. And it doesn't have to do with stepping on a fumier, or it's how they relate to the people around them and the love and the compassion they bring. That's the key.
The price for your glory is their suffering.
It's too dangerous.
We asked for this mission.
I planned to take many shots of nature in different ways. I planned so much over the years. But when I got to the locations, something happened. I realized that if we were able to get the equipment there, because some of these locations are very hard to get to, the landscape itself said a great deal. And so placing the actors within that landscape, placing the different figures, so to speak, it revealed itself to me while I was preparing the picture. And very often on set, too, very often on the location where we were shooting. Getting some experience from shooting a couple of TV pilots to move fast, I began to strip away things there, too, not needing a certain angle, not needing an extra angle here, concentrating on what the landscape, what the hillside looked like, or the mountainside, the mist that came and went mysteriously, the color of the grass, the shapes of the rocks, the ocean, the waves, the caves, all of this, the mud, the extraordinary amount of mud, that we even shot in a typhoon, we shot in the heat. I mean, it was a very, very arduous shoot. a lot of mountain climbing, and some very unpredictable weather, let alone some earthquakes. But aside from that, there was a studio that we worked in Taipei. But, once again, the style of the picture has half the picture there's incarceration is in a prison cell. A cell, granted, it has bars you could see through. You can see right, wooden bars. And that helped me define in my mind visually what was important, to see it from Rodriguez's point of view. Liam Neeson and I worked together before on Gangs of New York. Ciarán, Hinds, I've always admired. He's an extraordinary actor, a great actor, really. So much so, I don't even know he's in which. I see him in movies, and I say, "Who's that guy?" And it's always the same guy. It's Ciarán Hinds. So I never recognize. He's so extremely immersed in the character he plays. Andrew and Adam were new to me. I mean, I'd seen Andrew in Social Network and the Red Riding film and Boy A, I think, and Adam in the Noah Baumbach movie and and Girls, and I really loved him, and I loved his work, and I took the work very seriously, threw themselves into the roles. They say actually really involved certain hardships, one of which, besides going to travel in Portugal and going on retreat in Wales, religious retreat and all this sort of thing. But when it got to do the picture, they really had to be extremely thin, and they had to eat very, very little during the shooting. We had a nutritionist with us, but it was a physical hardship. And Andrew actually went through and completed the spiritual exercises of the Jesuits. This Father James Martin, who helped him through that, which is an extraordinary achievement. 9 films I've done with Dante and his wife Francesca, and he's a genius at what he does. He was also able to create something from nothing, really. If he's given the ability to create something bigger and financially given the support, that's something else. But he can also come up with something that we need with that very special eye that he has and sense of design, which really also works out to be something that's accurate and for the period, So we just know each other that way. I've always admired his work on all the other films he's made, and he went through a lot of hardships to make this picture, but he came through. He did some beautiful work. This is the third time I worked with Rodrigo Prieto, and he was another person in the sense that once we got the camera in that position, we felt that the image was telling us more than what we thought, and he would go with that. The key thing, his lighting is subtle and sensitive. His tone on set is something which is supportive, with humor, but at the same time not necessarily fazed by all the crises. And so the temperament is good, but the ability to try different things, the ability to say, well, can't we have the camera fly over there, like in Wolf of Wall Street, and fly? He'd work it out, I'm very lucky, I think, to have a good relationship with him, and he's a wonderful artist, great artist.
I pray, but I'm lost. Am I just praying to silence?
The world has changed so much that I think the more serious films, there are many being made, But I don't know if they're being as supported as they used to be. When I come from a time where they were supported strongly, not all of them, but they were. And look, the world has changed. Technology has changed. The way people view films have changed, where they view them. What is a film anyway at this point? Is it a 2-hour picture? Is it 6 hours? Is it 20 minutes? It's wide open, which is good, and it's also dangerous, but it's also a new opportunity. So what happens is that the serious films get made, I believe, but they're not supported in terms of budget. And I don't think the filmmakers are nurtured enough, I think. Nurtured enough. And so I'm concerned that many of these filmmakers, you should be able to, well, at the time, years ago in the 70s, Bob Altman would make a film a year, maybe 2 films a year, lower budgets, but he still was able to get them out. And here now I find that some of the younger filmmakers who are distinctly personal filmmakers have trouble getting the money to put pictures together. I mean, not all of them do, but a lot of them do. And but the Academy, for example, give the Academy Award to 12 Years a Slave or Spotlight. These are independent pictures. These are serious pictures, So there is that element. I just feel that I came from a time when they were all serious.